Following the tragic shooting in El Paso, which killed 20 people, by the way, and injured 26 more, the hashtag Trump terrorists started trending on Twitter due to a possible connection between the gunman's motives and Donald Trump's rhetoric. The viral hashtag was meant to draw attention to how the racist and hateful language we hear regularly from Donald Trump encourages the growing number of anti-immigrant acts of domestic terror. Anti-immigrant sentiment seems to be the motive behind the mass shooting that occurred in El Paso, Texas. Right before the gunman committed his act of domestic terrorism, he posted a paranoid anti-immigrant manifesto on 8chan, parroting much of what Trump says in his rallies.
It's a wildly anti-immigrant manifesto. It's 3 pages of hatred against immigrants and people, viewed as basically invaders to the United States, where they believe, and people generally on this extremist forum where these people get radicalized, believe that there is only so much space or only so many jobs in this country and it's being replaced by Mexican immigrants.
According to the New York Times, the unsigned manifesto was titled "The Inconvenient Truth," and it draws direct inspiration from the mass murder of Muslims at 2 mosques in New Zealand in March that left 51 people dead. In that attack, the suspect published a manifesto online promoting a white supremacist theory called the Great Replacement. So this is the ridiculous idea that white people are being replaced with people of color. The gunman also claimed that the heavy Hispanic population in Texas will make us a Democrat stronghold, which actually sounds awfully similar to a conspiracy theory Trump spread in an effort to make excuses for why he lost the popular vote in the 2016 election.
We also need to keep the ballot box safe from illegal voting. And believe me, you take a look at what's registering, folks. They like to say, oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. Take a look at what's registering. Only American citizens should vote in American elections. Which is why the time has come for voter ID, like everything else.
Now, of course, we all know that undocumented immigrants don't vote in the elections. But there are other notable similarities between the shooter's manifesto and Trump's incessant anti-immigrant rallying cry. The Times continues to note that the words of the manifesto in citing the Great Replacement theory echo the slogan that was chanted during a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2017. Jews will not replace us. And we all remember how Trump referred to the white supremacist who participated in that march.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
The manifesto claimed the shooter held these views even before Trump. But Trump, the most powerful man in the world, has normalized this hateful rhetoric, which in turn emboldens violent racists to come out of the shadows and proudly display who they really are. Sometimes they do it in the form of a racist chant.
Supporters chanted, "Send her back." They were referring to one of the 4 congresswomen of color the president had said should go back to the countries they came from.
But other times, these Trump-fueled zealots display their hatred by running counter-protesters over or by opening fire to murder 20 innocent people at a Walmart. During a recent rally in Florida, Trump seemed to make light of one rally-goer's suggestion to shoot migrants at the border.
But how do you stop these people? You can't. There's no. That's only in the panhandle you can get away with that statement.
When you hear someone at that Florida rally yell, "shoot them," it's not a great idea to encourage them by cracking jokes. Words obviously have consequences, and those ramifications are deadly in a country that's already grappling with gun violence. He should have condemned those words. Instead, Trump encourages the violence. And we're seeing a trend if we take a step back and take a look at the broader picture. The FBI has said that more Americans have died in domestic terrorist attacks than international ones since September 11th. And that domestic terrorism is increasingly motivated by white supremacist ideology. FBI Director Christopher Wray recently told congressional lawmakers that the Bureau had already made about 100 domestic terrorism arrests this year, We all know Trump built his entire political career off of fear-mongering about immigrants and people of color. He encouraged the worst among us to proudly come out from the shadows with this rhetoric.
When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. Illegal immigrants with criminal records, ordered deported from our country, are tonight roaming free to threaten peaceful citizens. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
President Trump today tweeting, without any evidence, criminals and unknown Middle Easterners are mixed in.
Take your camera, go into the middle, and search. You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle Eastern, you're going to find everything. This is an invasion. When you see these caravans starting out with 20,000 people, that's an invasion. I was badly criticized for using the word invasion. It's an invasion, and it's also an invasion of drugs coming in from Mexico, okay?
2 days after the El Paso shooting, Trump held a press conference to condemn racism. But we all know what tomorrow will look like. He'll go right back to exploiting racial divisions and paranoia because that's all he's got. He has failed to deliver on everything he promised to his base. They still support him. He said he'd lower drug prices, but prescription drug costs have actually continued to skyrocket. He said he would improve the economy. Did you check out the Dow today? Inflation has continued to outpace wage growth. And well-paying, stable, full-time jobs are still hard to come by. We all know the real economy is propped up by consumer debt and corporate stock buybacks. He said he would improve the country's infrastructure, but our country continues to rot, both physically and morally. Republicans will blame video games, social media, the gay community, mental health illnesses, and anything else they can come up with as catalysts for what transpired over the weekend. But we all know what's really going on. The fish rots from the head down, and that fish is Donald Trump, rotten to his core. Did you know that TYT Network is now available on YouTube's new streaming platform, YouTube TV? Get access to full TYT episodes and exclusive shows by signing up for YouTube TV today. All new subscribers get a 7-day free trial, so head over to youtube.tv and search for the TYT Network channel.